It's definitely early to speculate, but the Spurs keep things close to the chest. I mean, Shams Charania basically, he tweeted it out right after the Spurs had tweeted out their announcement. We're not going to make assumptions. The Spurs are playing so this is kind of a whirlwind. I think that news broke as Coach Popovich was doing pregame or they were about to. So this is pretty wild. I-10 Aggie, what do you have for us? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really know what to say, but what I was going to chime in when they did the New Jersey patch reveal, Primo was the guy. He was the jersey model, and I believe he was the only player that they had up there when they did the New Jersey patch reveal. So I have a hard time believing this is like some work ethic related issue, because the front office and everyone was pushing this guy so hard on us, like pushing, and we saw flashes of it, but he was never inconsistent enough to cut it. This guy was playing 7th, 8th man minutes. I'm really confused. There's got to be something like crazy that happened, because it wasn't just the coaching staff and the fans pushing this guy. It was our front office. It was coming from like the sponsorship deals and stuff. So I don't know. I'm lost. I don't have anything else to say.
So from what I'm seeing, Project Spurs actually has, we got kind of boots on the ground. We got someone at the game. They're telling us Pop was late to the media session. He was not happy coming in or going out, except for when he got to speak about DeMar DeRozan. Of course, everybody has pretty warm feelings about DeMar DeRozan. So just everyone is confused, probably angry. It is okay to feel that way. This is a place for you to get it out, but we're going to, just to put some things in perspective here. Ready to, like was mentioned earlier, get some 7th, 8th man minutes and work his way into regular rotation here. Again, we are not going to assume anything. You know what happens when you do that. Makes an ass out of you and me, of course. So we're not going to do that. But the only thing that we're going to assume is that something bigger is at play. This is, as was previously mentioned, this is not something that was related to his play on the court or anything else that was happening on the court. There's no justification to waive a guy that you just exercised an option on. In the first 2 weeks of the season, he has not played poorly enough to warrant that. That is the only thing I will say on that. JD's got his hand raised. What else you thinking, JD?
Yeah, just to kind of touch on the fact that he just got waived, I'm sure there would have been plenty of trade partners willing to at least talk about Josh Primo. The fact that he's just completely off of the team right now is huge. What could this possibly mean that they wouldn't even take offers on him? Like, what could that possibly mean?
That's a fantastic question. If they must feel that something serious enough has happened that they were not going to be able to trade him away. Again, we don't know what it is. We may not know tonight, but you can imagine that this game against the Bulls is going to be played under a much different light than what we probably thought it was going to be. There's going to be a lot of heaviness on this game. So, for those watching tonight, whatever happens in this game, whether it's a win or a loss, I would say take it with a large grain of salt. It's a very bizarre situation and certainly not one that the Spurs have really ever been involved in. And that's despite them really keeping things close to the vest. They don't have leaks in the organization as far as, trades, things like that go. So it's very odd. I think we're all in a bit of new territory here. Noel Silva is up here. I'm sure you have some thoughts. What do you have for us, Noel?
Yeah, it's real interesting. I've never seen the San Antonio Spurs do something like this. And it's real interesting to know, guys, that Josh Primo has actually gone private on Instagram now. So that could be, again, not assuming things, but that could be a telltale sign of things to come for him and the organization's future. Again, if we look at R.C. Buford's statement, he says that in the long term, he hopes that it's the best decision for Josh Primo himself that this waive took place. So, again, an interesting perspective there and an interesting piece of information to add to that.
Thank you. Yes, much appreciated. That is, and the phrasing of that statement is a bit odd. It sounds, R.C. Buford is trying to make that sound, it seems to me, very cordial, like it was almost a mutual parting of ways, which it most certainly will not be, I think, once we find out afterwards. Shoni, you're up. What do you feel?
So something that another Twitter poster mentioned, and it has to do with the timing. The Spurs waited to release this until after 5 o'clock on a Friday, which means anything legally in San Antonio or Bexar County won't be available until after Monday. So all legal records are sealed. Anything that may have happened that this possibly could have been is not going to be accessible until Monday. So take that for what it's worth, but the timing is also very suspicious that it was done late on a Friday afternoon after all public offices were closed.
Very crucial information, much appreciated. Did not even consider that. Thank you for bringing that up. Again, we're not going to assume anything, but that piece of information is very interesting, and the timing is, we'll say, also interesting. I don't want to say coincidence. Don't want to, not trying to put words in people's mouths, but very pertinent information to have right now. We're here. We're still kind of reacting live. I'm trying to find more information, outside of what you guys have told me and what we've seen from R.C. Buford and official, tweets from, official legitimate sources. This is all we know. Josh Primo, drafted in 2021, top 15 lottery pick. He has been waived. His option was recently picked up in the last 2 weeks. The fans felt good about him. Pretty sure the front office felt good about him. The coaches, his teammates felt good about him. Something strange here is definitely happening. I'm still inviting everyone, if you feel that you want to say something, you want to get some things off your chest, you're welcome to join us. We're not going to go too long because, as Shoni mentioned, we're probably not going to find out much more tonight. Public offices are closed. If this does become a legal issue, which again, we do not know that it is, but if it does become a legal issue, we will probably not find out anything until Monday at the earliest. I've got the Daywalker on here. I didn't know we had Blade with us, but apparently Blade is here.
Yeah.
What do you have for me?
Man, I'm just as surprised. I think with the Spurs image around the league, this is probably, when the story comes out, is going to be what's needed. But just a question, and this is just for anybody to answer. With the fact that they're not able to garner high-level free agents, do you think and not just with this, but even with the Kawhi situation and DeRozan and whatever, do you think that the front office is too stringent on certain things? Like I said, I don't know what happened with Primo, but do you think that there's some things they can let go and just try to build on to gain more free agents, or are they just so far ahead, just trying to make sure that they're that clean cut franchise, even though Tony Parker didn't get penalized for what happened with Brent Berry? Do you think that hurts them sometimes, trying to be too clean cut?
I think that's certainly a fair question. And I think that, yes, at times it does hurt them. And and I think it's always going to be that way for the Spurs, in that they want to be pretty stringent. They're very similar to the Yankees in how they want to be perceived. When, like, if you go to the Yankees and you're a player, like, you have to be clean cut. You can't have a scraggly beard. You have to shave a certain way. Like, they have very specific ways that they present themselves outwardly. The Spurs are similar in that regard. I mean, they don't tell guys that you can't wear certain stuff or you can't shave your hair or face however you want. But, they're very much, we are a professional organization. We are going to present ourselves as such, and you are going to represent us as such. So I'm sure that does rub some free agents the wrong way. I also think that San Antonio as a city is just not as sexy as some other places. And frankly, I would also point out that free agents a lot of times aren't as smart as they think they are, because Texas does not have a state income tax. Meanwhile, people want to go to New York and other places that have crazy huge taxes, or state income taxes specifically. So I think that's part of it. I think if you could sell people on that, you would be much better off if you're San Antonio. But I hope that at least answers some of your question, if not all of it. But that is my feeling on the Spurs, at least, and how they present themselves, how they want the players to present themselves. And again, for those just joining, if we have anybody new just joining us, that is, we are still talking about Josh Primo, former lottery pick from 2021, has been outright waived by the Spurs, not 5 games into the season. Still inviting people to come up, share. We've got Spurs fan who's about to come up here. He'll connect soon. I'm seeing a lot of sad faces. I'm experiencing something very similar to you guys. Spurs fan, tell us how you're feeling tonight.
Very shocked. How's it going, everyone? Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. But I guess aside from that, I guess moving forward, does this mean we get to see Wesley and Malachi a lot more now? Like, who's the backup PG now? Does Josh Richardson stay now, or do we ship him off soon and replace him with something else? I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? This is really, really weird.
Yes, weird is definitely a word we would use. JD, I think you were ready to say something. What do you have?
No, I was just going to touch on that. I think it is kind of funny that they did recall Malachi and Wesley from Austin just the other day, and now this news is coming out. Was this premeditated?
Right. Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
And then, like Shoney said, they waited until after 5 on a Friday to release it for legal reasons. So, I mean, they already had Primo on the injury report is out tonight before this all came out anyways. So this could have been all premeditated from a few days ago.
I don't know if I'd go that far. That seems kind of dastardly, for lack of a better term from the 2020s. But it definitely is odd timing. But I would also say that the Spurs do that often, where they shuttle guys back and forth. So I don't think that was out of the ordinary by any means, but it's definitely going to look suspicious now that this news has happened with Primo. So I thought we had someone. Oh, we got Wesley Park came in. I know Wesley's got quite a few things to say. He is never short on words.
Hey, yeah. I want to just say this, and I don't. I'm shocked. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I'm at kind of a loss for words, to be honest with you. To be real, I kind of feel like, is this, I asked this question on Twitter and I didn't get a response from anybody. Is the front office and the coaching staff on the same page? And I'm not trying to stir a controversy here. I'm just asking because recently Popovich had said something to the effect when Charles Bassey was added, and his comments was typical Pop. Well, somebody in the front office wanted to have him. Same thing the other day, was talking about some type of development with a player. He gave a very oddball answer to that, and this today. I'm not saying it's connected. I'm not trying to create a conspiracy, but is the direction of what the Spurs are doing? Are there people in this organization in different places right now?
I completely agree. That's a great point.
So, guys, we actually have Project Spurs reporter Jazz Tamir with us. I know she has a few things she wants to say. We're gonna bring her up now. We're gonna let her talk. I think she's gonna be able to update us best on this. Really appreciate you coming on, Jazz. What do you have for us?
Hey, I got in my AirPods. Can y'all hear me? Or give it like a thumbs up or something?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. I'm just hopping in real quick because the game's gonna start. I'm just hopping in to let y'all know basically the environment and that they said what they said. But what I mean by that is the announcement got released. The announcement got released literally around 6:30 or so. Pop was late to his media day availability, so this is all kind of weird timing, all on its own. Pop is usually never late. Who gets waived right before a game? It's all kind of weird. When he came into the media room, he was already kind of on edge. You could tell. Obviously, he was asked about it. He said that the statement that they released was a statement that they're going to stick to, and he didn't say it to be nice. He said it very firm. He wasn't happy about the decision. I'm not going to say he was sad, but he was obviously not like, oh, this is what's best for the team. And then when he was asked about when we should expect an update, when he can give us anything, it was literally like, did you see what I said? So he was very strict, very stern about the release, and I know that's not like a very comforting answer, but even somebody asked about the Stell's knee, and they asked about when we should expect him back, and Pop was like, he didn't have any, there is no time, there's no specific time. So that's just to give y'all kind of the insight on the energy in the room, that I think this goes beyond a business decision. Everybody can agree as far as the media that this kind of goes beyond just a basic business decision, and it is very random for everybody. We're all still trying to figure out what the heck is going on. But just so y'all can kind of center the conversation around that type of energy and that focus. I know we really don't know where they're going with the rebuild, but I honestly don't think this is just a rebuild issue. But I can't expand too much on anything else because you don't want to speculate beyond what the actual circumstances, because we don't know how sensitive it is to the organization or why he actually got cut. But I will be at the media availability post game, and I will let you guys know if I hear anything. Just follow me, or when we get into this space, I'll hop back in and I'll let you guys know if there's anything else that they can update us on. But they also stated that the players won't be talking about it. If somebody asks the player, I don't know if there's consequences on that. So I wouldn't bank on anything being said tonight. But I can come back and update you guys on maybe like body language and things like that. That's all I got for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jazz. We really appreciate it. That is huge news. Appreciate you being there in person, giving us a feel for what is going on. I've got Evan back here co-hosting with me. I think, Michael, you hopped in last I saw. What do you have for us, Michael? If he's there. If not, we'll keep going. I know Evan's going to have some feelings on this. We actually got a couple of questions about Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley, timing of their recall, also what it means for their minutes going forward. We will eventually get to that. I'm sure Evan is going to have some thoughts on that. I know he feels strongly about Blake and Malachi. Kareem S., I think you just came in. What are you feeling right now?
Yeah, no, I am just as shocked as everyone else. Here I am, just grocery shopping, doing my thing, and I thought it was legit a typo. I saw Noah's post, and then everyone's reaction right after. The group chat, Ben, was just ignited, and it doesn't make any sense. The kid hurt his back a few nights ago. He's out for the second.
Truly shocking.
Game. I don't know, man. I'm shocked. I'm legit speechless. I'm speechless. I have nothing else to say right now. Honestly, you can pass to somebody else.
I think a couple of people have joined us as speakers. Is there anyone else who is looking to air out some feelings tonight? This is a safe place for everybody. I want to make that very clear. Safe space.
Most definitely. Everybody's speechless in a way, but I do feel like some answers have to come soon from somebody somewhere, whether it's in English or Spanish, because you don't get to have your cake and eat it too. If we're going to be the team that lurks in the weeds and handles our business and wins games, and we're not going to garner that type of media attention, when things like this happen, people need answers in some way, shape, or form. This was a lottery pick who's now not on the team this year, who had a good offseason, who everyone was excited about going forward. So now you're in the midst of a rebuild. You just traded your franchise player for draft picks, and then this happens out of the blue, and nobody wants to give anybody any kind of answers. And I get it right now, but all I'm saying is answers need to come at some point. Because if they don't come and you think we can just move forward, we're basically the Knicks.
Oh, hell no, man. No.
Yeah, and I was just going to say nobody wants to be the Knicks. Very good points. You're absolutely right. This is the Spurs will have to give updates on this. Hopefully sooner rather than later. You're right. There has to be accountability here. There has to be. You have to tell media. You have to tell fans why you've made this decision. I get that, right? If it is a legal issue, then yes, you have to wait. You have to let some things unfold, and that's fine. You need to let the legal process take place. Makes total sense. Right now, we don't know anything, though. We are in the dark. So we are going to try and lighten this place up a little bit. I've got 2 hands raised here. Let's go Ruben G. Buckets and then Kareem S., and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Recently, this franchise, I don't know, it feels like it's been, one step forward and 2 steps back. I can't, see this objectively as purely basketball related. There's just no way. Primo had, he's 19 going on 20, and we're in the rebuild phase. There's just no way this is basketball related. I hope that's not too serious, and that, in the long run, Primo, can redeem himself. But the way it's looking, I can't. This just doesn't look good.
Agreed. It's going to be a rough few days before we find anything out, I think. But we're going to try and keep moving through people here. Kareem, I know you've got something. You've had your hand raised. How you feeling?
Wait, can they hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question.
Go for it.
And my question is, do you think there's anything good that per se happened from this association with the contrabanding of Primo?
That's tough to say.
Anything good about this scenario with the Spurs?
I have an answer.
Go for it, Evan.
Pretty much. Sorry, hold up. Pretty much.
You're good.
Everyone has seen the past few weeks legit how Josh Primo has reportedly gotten the red carpet treatment, the Kawhi treatment. He's the face of self. He's the face of this. He's the face of that. Hey, man. whatever you said, whatever happened, whatever disagreement, just because you're the number one option right now or the number one face of the franchise, hey, you can get cut. Obviously, I don't think every franchise would have done this. Some franchises will legit let somebody who just got arrested play in an NBA game without
Hornets.
the Charlotte Robcats, as some may say. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, this franchise, the Spurs that is, does not play around, does not mess around. If this is like a set in stone way of saying, hey, like if you're gonna come to this team, there's no BS. I feel like that's the only beneficial thing long term, because Primo honestly wasn't necessarily the face of the franchise. He's not the best player now, but this like sets the tone for anyone else like coming to San Antonio, hey, like we don't mess around, and that's all I got. And we're legit trying to get to every single person. There's so many requests. Thank you for everyone, jumping in, joining us. This is a crazy. I'm still shocked, man. Ben, go ahead.
I've got a bunch of hands raised. I wish it gave it to me in the right order. I'm going to try and get this order right, guys. From what I saw, I think it was Noel, Lewis, JD, Freaky Hurts. I'm never not going to laugh at that. And then Jacob. And after some people finished, we have some more requests. We can only have X amount of people up at a single time. So after some people go, I may remove you as a speaker to get more people on. Please don't take it personally. We're just trying to get through everybody. So Noel, kick us off.
Yeah, so real quick to piggyback off of Evan, Sean, Wesley, and Daywalker, it adds to the mystique of this whole situation, right? Because from what we've seen in the past couple of weeks, and really since we drafted Primo, the city of San Antonio has really adopted this kid and has really taken a liking to him. And it seems like he's taken a real big liking to San Antonio too. So it's real interesting that this would happen. And to go off what Evan said, it's real interesting to say that San Antonio the front office would look to make an example out of a 19-year-old kid. I mean, I understand, again, like Wesley and Dave Walker were saying, that San Antonio is a real clean-cut organization. But again, I really just don't see anything like that happening to Josh Primo. Again, he's a 19-year-old kid, and this isn't to put him on a pedestal, but I don't think he gets in some sort of trouble in that way to make that sort of decision to completely cut him off the team and not even take offers or anticipate some sort of trade for him.
Yeah, it's if the Spurs are not even going to consider a trade or anything like that, you have to think something serious is going on. It's, again, a very tough and odd situation. I'm going to try and keep moving it. I think Lewis was next. What do you have for us, Lewis?
Hey, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Jesus.
Kick him.
No, we're good.
Oh,
did you get that, or was it just me?
No, that was funky. We're all right, though. Go ahead, Lewis.
Did y'all remember when DeJounte Murray got traded and he was commenting under Instagram posts? He said something about the team would be losing for 15 years because of problems bigger than basketball. Do y'all think like this situation is kind of alluding to the comments that he made? Maybe there's like a front office issue that's going on, maybe not the player.
I don't. It's hard to say. The Spurs have been so well run for so long. It's hard to believe that, kind of the buttons are coming undone, right? So in that regard, I'm not sure I believe that. I also think that DeJounte Murray might be a pretty petty human being. And I think the Spurs saved him from himself on a couple of occasions, if you were to ask my opinion. I could see it both ways is the problem. Like, yes, the Spurs may be losing some touch here, but also disgruntled players are always going to be disgruntled, even though you could argue San Antonio did pretty well by DeJounte Murray and got him to a place he wanted to be at. I think, who is next? I think Freaky Hertz is next. Thank you for that wonderful name. We need some levity here. What do you have for us, sir?
If this is a disciplinary thing, I would be extremely shocked. From what I've seen from Primo, he seems like such a good kid, clean cut kid. He has a girlfriend. You know, I have not seen any red flags from Primo ever. So if this is a disciplinary thing, this is what's so shocking, because it's like, he seems like such a good kid. What the heck happened that turned this relationship this bad that we're not getting a suspension? We're not getting anything. We're going straight to a good review. So it's like, we're not going to get any assets for this kid. It's like, what the heck is going on? Like, we're not used to this. We are not the franchise that deals with drama. And then what's been going on lately? It's like, it's crazy. And it's like, and then like he said with the whole DeJounte thing, it's like, and then even though DeMar left and it was under good pretenses, it's like, we see how good DeMar is, like when he left, like what he's doing on the Bulls. And it's like, and it makes you think, it's like, what is, like, I know I'm rambling right now, but it's like, what is the reputation of the Spurs in the minds of players? That's the thing I'm thinking about. Like, how is this going to impact us in the future in the minds of players? Are we going to get that reputation that like no one wants to play here? Like, we're so strict, you can't have fun on the Spurs. It's like, because the whole Pop championship dynasty thing is starting to wear thin. Like, these kids are getting younger, and the thing is, it's like that whole mantra, that whole mystique of the Spurs being a dynasty, that is fading every year. And we're getting more of a reputation of being just some strict, boring, no fun. It's like, I am so shocked, confused. I don't know what to go from here, guys.
Well, we appreciate you sharing your feelings, for sure. We're glad you got them out. I think it's fair to say most people here are confused as well. We are with you. We feel you. We empathize. We sympathize.
Love you guys. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think, I don't know if, Popovich has passed his time. I don't think they've used the tagline of, oh, well, Popovich created the dynasty. I don't think they're using that to try and sway people one way or another. But it does feel like he is getting closer to his time, although he has said on several occasions that these younger kids are energizing him. They're giving him a new lease on coaching life. So I think that's worth something as well. I know we've got a couple more people who have just joined. Jacob's hand has been raised for a bit. So Jacob, go ahead, and we'll figure out the order after that.
I'll handle the order because I'm watching them come in. Then I'll bring them up.
Perfect. Thanks, Evan.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys. I'm really not going to act like I have any idea how any of the off-court stuff works, so I just want to have one question. Could the Spurs not have asked for a trade for him, gone like any sort of package for him? Why did it have to be immediate? Like, did something really, really bad happen? Or was this on the table for a little bit and they just decided just to waive him right now?
I think that's the biggest question. We don't know what happened. If this is a legal issue where something serious happened, they may have had no choice. They're a no nonsense organization. Again, you can point to other teams who have people on their roster who have made legal mistakes and are still on those rosters, but you have to believe that the San Antonio Spurs don't take those kind of chances. They've had bad luck and they have had bad experiences with bad eggs. I won't name names, but I think a lot of people know who that may or may not be. So, it's tough. It's a very tough situation. Under normal circumstances, if for some reason the Spurs really didn't like Josh Primo, they absolutely could have traded him and could have gotten something in return as part of some sort of package. I would absolutely agree with you in saying that they could have gotten something in return, but we just don't know what this circumstance is.
Right, and it could have happened within like the last 5 hours because the Spurs pin tweet right now has him on the top right of the screen, like his right there. So like that was 5 hours ago when it was posted. So I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
Had to have it right.
That is brutal timing. If you're the Spurs, they're gonna have to change that.
Yep.
Really good pointing that out there. Evan, who do we have next? Is Bevan our next speaker?
It'll be Bevan, and then Ian. Ian. Did you say anything? If not, it'll be undoubtedly with the Primo Avi. Oh man, actually, Bevan, JBO. If Will hasn't said anything, Ian. I'm just gonna go two at a time. This is a lot, and we see all the requests. We're trying to get everyone up. As soon as somebody stop talking, we'll get somebody up. But I believe it's Bevan. Bevan, go ahead. And
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep, you're good.
So, the whole situation has been very strange. Leading up to the season, even on the media day when Pop made that announcement that, no one should be going to Vegas to bet on us, he also made the statement that a lot of players will be getting minutes they weren't expecting it. That mixed with, the Spurs using Primo as the kind of the face when they were advertising the new sponsorship, led everyone to believe that, he's going to be that guy. But however, when the season started, a lot of people were really surprised to see Primo not only to be the starting point guard, but to be coming off the bench. And even with his role on the bench, we saw more plays being run through players like Josh Richardson. Primo's only getting a couple shots up a game. And do you think that everything's kind of boiled over where he's kind of blown up at Pop about his lack of opportunities?
Yeah, it's definitely odd. This is a guy that, when the Spurs initially drafted him, everybody kind of, everybody's eyes bugged out of their heads, mine included. I almost lost it on draft night. I was very confused, a little bit angry, came back down to earth. He's shown the glimpses, the athleticism. He's super young, like was mentioned earlier. He's turning 20 this year in his third season. So it's very odd. It does not make a lot of sense, and we're just going to have to try and navigate it. Evan, I don't know who the next speaker is. I think you said it was Ian, right?
Or Ian, it was JBO actually.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. I'll be real quick, guys. I don't think, you can disagree with what the Spurs have done recently with picks, with trades, things like that, maybe prolonging Pop's window when they should have sold off. But they don't just give away people. They're not just going to waive an asset. And I think we're dealing with something like a Ray Rice situation or something like that. That's just my 2 cents. I think it's much more than, there was some culture misfit. So that's all I'd want to say.
Totally agree. These are completely irregular circumstances. Ian, hit us up.
Hey everyone. Yeah, man, this is completely shocking and just confusing. But kind of hitting on what JBO just mentioned, it does seem like it may be some type of domestic violence issue. He was just the face of the franchise. Really, this whole summer, he was promoted as such in commercials and billboards. And just a few weeks ago with the extension, everything was pointing to us, him becoming a building block for us. For them to really just make this decision, knowing that it would impact the trust in our fans with this organization. We don't know how the players feel about this. I'm sure they're blindsided. So those type of decisions, I don't think they will make lightly. So this definitely does seem like it may be something legal. But man, this is tough news.
Agreed. Very, very hard to swallow right now. We're hope to God it is not a Ray Rice situation. That was terrifying and frankly was poorly handled by the NFL and the Ravens as well. you have to imagine the Spurs wouldn't allow something like that to happen, or at least the handling of that to happen. We're going to go to our next speaker. Evan, do you know who that is? Because I am in the dark, man.
And let's go with Noel, and then Tariq, and then JD. I may have got that wrong. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man.
Noel, Tariq, and JD. Wait, Galva, did you say anything yet? With the skull?
Oh, no, man, I haven't.
You got to throw your hand up,
Hey,
man. Throw your hand up. Go ahead.
I don't know how to do that. But, hey, anyway, hey, bottom line, it cannot be something like the Celtics. They got to say something. Get in front of it. Be truthful with everyone. Say it. I'm not surprised that I'm not so sad because I never thought Primo was the thing. He's just a tweener, honestly. But they need to not be the Celtics. Get in front of it, or else people are going to make things up.
That is true. You can't have what happened with the Celtics, especially because that was internal, and they had a lot of other things going on. So we're going to go. I think Noel took his hand down because he thought he was going to be next. So Noel, go ahead, go next, and then Tariq, and then JD, and we'll go from there.
So real quick, guys, like banking off what Galvin said, people are going to start making stuff up. So there is an unconfirmed Twitter source that was just showed to me saying that that there was a altercation, a verbal altercation between Pop and Primo in practice. We don't know when this was or if the source is reliable, but that's what is going around right now.
Okay.
Primo talking back? Primo talking back to the GOAT?
This is unconfirmed. We don't know if this is a reliable source.
Like I said, it was a verbal altercation between him and Pop. Again, unconfirmed. Don't know if it's a reliable source, but that's the word on the street right now. And I don't know if that warrants an outright waive.
Right. So I'm going to say definitively that is not what we are going to run with, unless someone of legitimate credibility, is reporting that's what happened. Again, we really don't know anything. If you do have to believe if that is somehow accurate, if there wasn't a verbal altercation in practice, that does not warrant an outright waive. That is, we saw Draymond Green punch a teammate on video, and he still played in his team's next game. So I don't foresee that being a reason why he was outright waived. I may be wrong, but that is what my gut tells me. I think we have Tariq next, and then JD, and we'll go from there.
So I'm just thinking how just the fact of the matter is you got Josh Primo, who was a lottery pick, first team all SEC, and is like lone season at Alabama, huge upside. We know the Spurs, they're like drafting guards. And for the fact is, we've seen before with they try to trade those assets when they don't get along. I hate to even put the speculations, but it has to be something egregious to not only eat the next $4 million a year unless somebody picks them up off waivers, and the fact that they're announcing this maybe like an hour before game day, and we're gonna have a long weekend just to try to figure out what's going on. And I hate that it might end up being like a Celtic situation where we're gonna see like when the verified source is like, what was your sham, start talking about it, and before the Spurs even jump on it. I hate that to happen.
Agreed. That is worst case scenario. Avoid that at all costs. If you are the Spurs, unless it is a legal situation, and that was the issue with the Celtics. It was not a legal situation. It was a personal situation, and they basically waited for things to come out. If this is not a legal situation, the Spurs should have something. If not after the game, they should have something tomorrow. If it is a legal situation, like Shoney mentioned earlier, businesses are closed until Monday. you're not getting anything until Monday. That's just the reality of that, of what's going on there. So keep that in mind. If we don't hear anything tomorrow for some reason, you may start hearing and seeing speculation that it is a legal issue. JD is next, and we'll determine order after that.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going off what other people have been saying so far, we just seen James Bouknight get a DUI and have an actual handgun on him in the car, passed out, and he's playing against us in the season opener. So, like, what Primo had to have done has to have been, what could he possibly have done that's this bad? I'm just literally floored right now. So that there's nothing even coming out, and I'm watching the warm ups of the team, like, coming out of the locker room before this game right now, and the energy looks good. Like, looks like guys are smiling. Doesn't seem like the energy's down at all. I'm not. Maybe they knew this was coming, or I don't know.
They're certainly putting on a good face then, but that is, man. That is a great point. And James Bouknight was my trigger name of the night. Thank you for that. You are right. Not only has James Bouknight recently had issues, he's had issues the entire last year with driving under the influence. I think it was a DUI, and it might have been a DWI. James Bouknight has had several issues. He is not the subject of this Spaces, but JD brings up a good point. If that guy is still playing for the Hornets and Primo is not playing for the Spurs, what could have happened? Again, don't know. Everything that you see is pure speculation. Marie has had her hand raised for a while. Marie, please join us.
One second.
Okay.
If it was Think No Walls, oh my God, I really just said that out loud. He's been waiting for a minute, and then Marie. And this is a warning. I'm sorry if I'm saying too much, but this is a warning. Swamp Crack Sport, if you say anything out of line on stage, will be removed. I'm sorry. Be removed. It's Think No, and then Marie, because he's been waiting, and then we're going to get to the rest of the requests.
Thanks, Evan.
Thanks for that. Thanks for the opportunity, man. I've been listening to you all. It's, man, quite informative. I know everybody's all over the place with this stuff, but just wanted to say that, first of all, I'm going to go the other way about the Pop thing, dude. I'm glad Pop is here. Handle this situation for the franchise. It's been a real crazy type of, I guess, past couple of months, past year, whatever, but I'll give you this example. You get a Doc Rivers up there having to make the press conference today. Man, the guy Ben missed the shot and half the team wants to leave. You got to have somebody smart up there, dude. I love Doc Rivers as a Spur and everything, but I'm just saying you got to have somebody that's experienced up there, dude. You know what I mean? Also, just a personal experience. I've been on an elevator with some of those summer league Spur guys, man, and I can rest assured to all your listeners, the Spurs do not give up player rights like that easy. It is like, man, they were like talking about like, how difficult it was because the Spurs will hold on to you. They'll G League you. So this has to be something, man. Primo, and another thing, whoever we thought Primo was, he's not that guy, man. We were just starting to get invested in him, that type of stuff, but something must have happened. You know how that goes. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks for giving me a little chance to just vent on this, man, because it's quite the afternoon, quite the evening for everybody. Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming up. All right. Now we are going to get to Marie. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate it. What do you have for us?
Thanks for having me up, you guys. First, I'm just shocked at the amount of national media attention this is getting. But I wanted you guys' opinion, and one of the guys, Tim McMahon or Mark Spears, I don't remember which one, said executives are scrambling to find out what happened with Josh Primo because, of course, he's a talent. They want to pick him up. Do you think we'll find out via other teams, or will other executives possibly leak what happened before the Spurs do, because they're no doubt doing their due diligence as well?
That's a great question and a great point. I would imagine if other GMs and other front offices find out the true reason, some of them may try. I would imagine some may try to leak it to official sources, to reporters, just because they want to try and get in, and one, they want to get in good with those reporters, but also, it's an advantage for them, a recruiting and mostly a recruiting and a signing, a free agency advantage to them if they're able to go out there and say, well, we did our due diligence and we found out the leak, or we found out this information before, the Spurs released it. So we're actually very good at our job. So I can imagine some would do that. Some GMs would probably be on the classier side and say, okay, we have the information. We don't need to do anything with it. We're going to let the Spurs handle it. They're going to be able to handle it best or whatever. So there, you can definitely see it happening either way. Great question. Thank you for bringing that up. I know Chewy has had his hand raised for a minute here. So Chewy, go ahead. Give us your best dog treats.
Fair enough. No, I appreciate you having me on. But I think to that point, that with other executives inquiring goes to show that he very well could have been a trade piece. So it can't just be something detrimental to the team. It has to be something egregious, especially with a stockpiling of picks. So without the lack of information coming from the Spurs, we're left to speculate the entire weekend and let our minds race. But I think anything other than it being, something legal and even egregiously, potentially in the legal space. I can't envision the Spurs not wanting to get something if it's just more a butting of heads with Pop. So, but it's unfortunate. He looked like he did have some talent, but I guess we all make mistakes, and we're just gonna have to learn what his is.
That is true. That is going to be coming out sooner or later, I imagine. I'm sure Spurs fans would rather it be sooner than later. I know I would, just so my heart rate can go down, and so I can actually get to sleep tonight. But unless anybody has anything else to say, I think Evan and I are going to start wrapping things up. We want you guys to be able to watch the game. I can't say that you'll be able to enjoy the game. That will be up to you. But Noel's got his hand raised, so I'm going to let you talk before we wrap things up here. Appreciate you coming up. And it looks like we're going to bring Carolina Teague up as well afterwards.
Yeah, real quick, guys. Sorry. One more piece of information. Josh Primo's girlfriend has now gone private on Instagram. So again, not speculating things, but things aren't looking too bright here.
Another Instagram development. Carolina reporter in her own right, great radio personality as well. Carolina, thanks for coming up. What do you have for us? Just give us anything. Let us hear your voice.
So what we're gathering right now is nobody in Spurs personnel is saying anything. They're saying they know nothing right now. So pretty much the entire Spurs, workers, staff that we've reached out to doesn't really know anything at all, or they're staying very quiet about it and keeping it in-house. Secondly, this morning I was at practice, and can you guys hear me? I'm sorry. People are calling me like crazy.
Sorry, you cut out for a second, but
okay, I'm sorry. This morning I was at practice. This morning Joshua Primo wasn't there. The demeanor of the staff wasn't anything out of the ordinary. So we really weren't expecting this news. It's a little bit odd to me that 2 days ago they listed him as out for the Timberwolves game suddenly, prior to the game starting, with a left glute spasm. I don't know if that's true or not. They said he took a hard fall the game prior. So whatever happened, either that's the truth or whatever the case may be, but whatever happened, it had to have been discovered within the past 24 to 48 hours. And people were saying at pregame press conference that Pop's demeanor, he seemed a little bit shocked. So, I mean, that's all I really have. And I just wanted to give my piece as to what's going on my end. It's really, everyone's really quiet. So I'm trying to figure out what happened.
We appreciate that, Carolina. Guys, give Carolina a follow. She's great. Works for the SA Sports Star on ESPN 97.5. Big fan of. We're a big fan of hers. Friend of the podcast. Friend of Project Spurs. So we appreciate that. Very very similar to what Jazz mentioned earlier. Carolina giving us a little more insight there. And I guess we'll see how this affects the Spurs, how it affects the players and the staff this game. I know some people mentioned earlier they noticed it had not really changed the Spurs' demeanor, or at least the players' demeanor walking onto the court and warming up. We'll see if they even know. I don't know if they would have found that out before the game. So we're, I guess it's going to be a bit of an awkward game. The game's probably going to feel like it drags on at times. You just want to get the news and want to hear what's going on. So we appreciate you guys coming on here, speaking. Just putting it out there. Again, we try and make this a safe space for anybody who just joined us or wants to come back later and re-listen to things. This is going to be on YouTube later. We're recording. And again, we appreciate you guys. Evan, my co-host, as always, appreciate you coming up here with me, steadying me a little bit, keeping me sane. But we're gonna end this space, and again, you'll be able to listen to it later. And we appreciate you guys. Thanks, and good luck tonight, everyone.